trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CKSIM gaming time. Driving trains, trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CKSIM gaming time. Driving trains, getting to stations, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time for CKSIM gaming. CKSIM gaming time. Driving through stations, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time for CKSIM gaming. Trains, trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CKSIM gaming time. Driving trains, trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CKSIM gaming time. Driving trains, getting to stations, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time for CKSIM gaming. CKSIM gaming time. Driving through stations, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time for CKSIM gaming.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. We're back for part number 2, Artful Jamie tea break. Now, kind of bit of a lunch break, as I said, but also because I had to try and go back to roughly where the flight ended before. I don't know if you were around at the end of the last stream, but the sim crashed the desktop whilst we were in mid-flight, so I've had to go away and try and go back to the exact spot, or more or less in the same spot where the crash to desktop happened, so at least I could carry on from where I left off. But anyway, let's have a quick look in Valanta. Bring up the Volanta again. Right, there we go. So anyway, this is from my last flight, and this line is basically my last flight and where we ended. So give or take just a little bit. I mean, this I'm zoomed in quite a lot now, so this is literally talking about meters here. So we're literally almost in the same spot, more or less, give or take a little bit, not a lot, maybe just, you know, maybe 10-20 meters or whatever, but it's more or less in the same spot. So we're going to carry on from where we left off. So I've already slewed the plane. The last screenshot I took, it was 30,940 feet, so I'm going to probably try and catch from where I left off, more or less. It'll more or less be in the same spot, but it doesn't really matter if it's in the same spot, but I just wanted it to be more or less in the same place. But so let's get back into the simulator again, and we can just carry on more or less from where we left off. I've already slewed up to a height, it's just a case of me. Here we go. So we're slewed, parachute is all ready, we just need to release ourselves and then carry on, really. So let's just here we go. So there we go. So we're literally more or less 29,900 feet. So yeah, we're literally like, you know, 60 feet different in the end. So we'll carry on going. We're still going in a southeasterly direction, and we're travelling at 50 knots at the moment, which is what we were doing before. So that's all cool. So Janet, do you know what happened? Did we fall out of the sky? Maybe Janet knows what happened to us.
Oh no, we haven't fallen out of the sky. We're still up here, defying gravity like a cat on a hot tin roof. Just keep your seatbelt on and enjoy the view.
Yeah, anyway, there you go. So according to Janet, nothing happened. But anyway, we'll see how long this flight lasts. So we're just carrying on. As I said, this is just a part 2. I mean, this isn't the first time this has happened. There's been probably a few flights in the past, all in, you know, Microsoft 2020, where the game would crash. I don't know what happened. I did have trouble getting back into 2024 for a while though, so I don't know if that had something to do with it. Am I flying with friends? No. Just tend to fly on my own here. Katie does her own flights. She does her own thing. She's probably flying in a Boeing 777 at the minute, so yeah. But no, I don't go on the multiplayer servers or anything, because the problem is it's very hard unless people have the exact same plane as me and to have the parachute and that. They can't really join in anyway, because all they would have to, because I'm going too slow, so they would have trouble trying to stay with me while they were flying around. Right, anyway, we're carrying on. We're back on ground level. We'll see how we get on. Right, just carrying on. The only problem is though, is not all the castles are going to be in the sim. There's a lot of add-ons you can buy that have castles in, or freewares. But unfortunately, you'll find that not every castle's here. They might have something that replaces a castle, so they might put in some apartment buildings where there is a castle, but not every. There won't be every castle in here. There'll be something where there is a castle, but it might not look like a castle. But unless you get some like add-ons that add castles in, then yeah, it really depends. Some of the world updates, they add castles and chateaus in, but they won't add everyone in, all of them in. So you might find there'll be some that you don't have. Yeah, you know Bamborough Castle's in this. Yeah, because it was probably with a world update for the UK they put it in. It's quite a nice castle, actually. That's on the Northumberland coast, isn't it? It's a nice area there, along there. Holy Island, Bamborough. I've been along the railway line that goes along there as well, and the East Coast Main Line's quite nice. It's I'd like to go along that area one day. I think I might have spoken about that in chat before, but one of my viewers is actually from well, a couple of my viewers are from the northeast. One is sort of around Darlington, the other one is in around Newcastle area. Right, anyway, we're carrying on. Let's have a quick look on Volanta, see how that's going on. Yeah, there's literally just a little gap. There's a little gap which is not very much, probably about 10, 20, 30 metre gap where between where I started and where I left off. So I'd say that was quite a good join there. You're from Shropshire. Oh, sorry, it's just where you were talking about Bamborough Castle. I wondered if it was like local to you or something. I'm in West Sussex myself, so my nearest castle is Arundel Castle. And then you've got Amberley Castle not far along, but they tend to use Amberley Castle for like wedding venues. Egbert has his own castle. He's also got a moat. Don't know if he's mentioned that in the stream. But yes, he's very rich. He'll probably kill me for saying that, but yeah, anyway, we like to joke with him that he has a castle. So I'm trying to think if I've been to Shropshire. I'm sure I have. I'm just trying to think what big towns and cities are in Shropshire. I think I've been there. Probably either been through it or I've actually got off the train there, because I've travelled around quite a lot of the country on the train, so there is some counties that I've been through, but I've not actually, you know, I've been through it on a train. Right then, anyway, let's just check on the Volanta map. Right, so we're just carrying on going. Can you tell me anything about Shropshire? Or I can't pronounce it now.
Ah, Shropshire. It's
Yeah.
a lovely county in England, known for its rolling hills and quaint villages. Did you know it's home to the famous Iron Bridge, which was the first cast iron bridge in the world? Quite a feat of engineering, if you ask me.
There you go, there.
I'm not quite sure what you mean by "that was wrong," but if you're referring to the name of the airfield, it's pronounced Yubilini. Just think of it as a fancy way of saying celebration in Russian.
Oh dear, that was funny. That was wrong. Ah, there we go. Well, anyway. So that's cool, the Iron Bridge. Wow, that's pretty interesting. See, I'm learning something even when I'm going along here. Lusania, southeast of Naples. That's a nice place. Yeah, Naples is yeah, sounds alright. There are some nice places in here. As I said, there aren't some nice places. Well, it all depends on the data they get, but you know, if they get good data, then some places look nice, and then there are lots of add-ons you can get as well that make places look nice. I think now that you know, 2024 is around, there'll be a lot more add-ons that come out that focus more on interactive stuff, like for walking around in. I mean, you know, they'll have add-ons where, you know, where you can kind of that'll be suited more for walking about. Oh, okay. Sounds nice. We get people from all over in my streams. We got people from Australia, America, you know, West Coast, East Coast. I've had people in from India, Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Scotland. But actually, in reality now, this place will be pitch black because of the time difference, because this is about 3-4 hours ahead of us. So I've just set the time. I've set the time of day to now, just because otherwise it's not much fun trying to fly in the dark. Well, drift in the dark. I'm hoping that the flight won't come to a sudden end again, and then we actually get to reach the ground. I did speak earlier about doing 2 flights. Well, in a way we have, kinda. Have a quick look at this again. So we're at 27,800. We're dropping at about 70 feet per minute, so we're dropping really slow. So I think even if this flight hadn't done what it did halfway through or whatever, then I probably still would have only done the 1 flight for this today, because this is going to end up quite a long flight anyway. I'll have to add up the totals from the last flight and this one. If you want to have a guess out, Artful Jamie, and put into chat how many miles you'll think that we're going to be travelling today in total from beginning to end. Not just for this flight here, but for the whole flight, including the one from earlier, because obviously that's just carrying on from where I left off. So I'm going to combine the mileages for both. Still doing about 50 to 60 miles per hour along the ground at the minute. You don't win any prizes. You just obviously will just get the knowledge that your guess was right. Yeah, Planet Zoo. Yes, I think it was because Jorg, who's like the project manager now for Microsoft, I think that was a game that he worked on in the past, and so they did a deal, I think, where they could put all the animals in. Well, most of the animals. They might have some other animals that aren't from Planet Zoo, but most of them, I think, were in there. I've not actually played Planet Zoo myself, but yeah, I think it was because Jorg was like working in there. I don't know if he was like the project manager of that game originally. I don't know. I've seen the animals pop up now and again. I did a flight from Florida the other week, and there was a bear hanging around near one of the taxiways, and then I've obviously done flights where I've seen sheep and cows in the fields and that, but I haven't really seen much else, although I haven't really been going around looking for anything else either. I know there's missions that you can do, photography missions, where you can go to places in Africa and look for elephants and giraffes and stuff, so and there's plenty of add-ons you can get that that added animals in 2020 as well. So I mean, I've had some add-ons that added birds and things. So for 2020, but you can get all sorts of things for 2020 and 24. You can buy boats, cars, all sorts of things. Passenger liners, warships. This is mad. One of the first mods I got for Microsoft 2020 when it first came out was a Star Wars Star Destroyer that you could put in the game, and it was just sitting in Sydney Harbour, and you could fly around it. And it was supposed to be like based on the size of what the real thing would have been like, so you could fly around it and things. But then in other games in the past, like P3D or FSX, they've had Star Wars things where you had like a Star Destroyer in the sky and it had like a landing base, you could land in it and things. But yeah, TIE fighters, X-Wings, all sorts of things. But 2020 had some animals as well, but just not as many. That's it. I mean, that's what came with the game. I mean, like I say, there was add-ons that come out that added more animals if you wanted them. But there's also add-ons you can get for 2020, which add trains in the sim as well. Around Europe, you can get ice trains or TGVs that go along. They're sort of like country packs, so you can buy like the UK as one country and France and Germany as another. I think people just think of lots of ways to try and make money, I think. How many people live in Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan has a population of about 19 million people, which is a bit like trying to fit a herd of cats into a tiny box. It's quite spacious, really.
A herd of cats into a box, it's spacious. Yeah, okay. But yeah, 19 million, that's not a lot really, is it? I mean, when you compare to like the UK, I mean, Sweden's got about, I think it's like 10 to 12 million, I think, population, Sweden. A lot of Sweden's basically like sparse, especially when you go up north. You got the cities that have a lot of people and some of the towns, and then you have the northern part, and it's not as populated. It's like here, really, isn't it? Really, you get a lot of. I haven't seen many towns or buildings as we've been doing these flights in this area. Do you know anyone called Artful Jamie?
I'm not familiar with anyone called Artful Jamie, but it sounds like someone who might be up to no good.
Oh dear, Artful Jamie, you're not up to any good, are you? Janet thinks you're up to no good. I wonder if Noxie will pop into stream. No, it's a bit late, although it's still only 2 o'clock UK time. I doubt it. Then he tends to if he tends to come in a stream, it'll probably be about 4 o'clock. How do you pronounce it? Is it like Lucania? Is that how you say it? Or is it Lucania? Is it like Lucania, isn't it? Do you know of a place called Lucania near Naples?
I'm not familiar with a place called Lucenia near Naples, but it sounds like a lovely spot.
I might not be pronouncing it right. I know what I'll do. I'll type it in and I'll ask her.
Lucania, also known as Lucania, is a region in Italy, but if you're referring to a specific place near here, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, it's probably because... okay. Oh, Sparks, okay.
Lucania, also known as Basilicata, is a region in southern Italy famous for its stunning landscapes and ancient towns. Speaking of ancient, my friend Toby once tried to impress a local by pretending to be a Roman gladiator at a historical site there. He ended up getting chased by a very confused goat that thought he was a threat.
That's just what comes out with.
Spartacus was killed in a battle near the Sila Mountains in Italy, but that's a bit of a downer, isn't it? Let's focus on more uplifting things, like the time Toby tried to reenact a gladiator fight in a Roman amphitheater and ended up getting chased by a very angry tour guide.
Was the tour guide called Jeff, I wonder? Bum bum bum. Spartacus. I'm glad I wasn't around with the Roman Empire. Don't think I'd have lasted very long. That's the thing. Imagine if you had a time machine and you just went back to like medieval times. I wonder how long you'd actually last. They'd probably think like you were a witch or something, wouldn't they, and burn you. They'd be like wondering where you got your clothing from, and I don't know. They'd probably think they'd be like, Right, let's have a look. What height are we at the minute? We're at 27,100 feet. Wow, still haven't dropped much. So yeah, this is quite a good flight. I mean, apart from the fact that it kind of crashed the desktop halfway through it, it's actually been quite decent. So it's nice when you get a drift that's quite a good one. Sometimes I've done drifts and have only been like really short. But this is one of the long like one of the longer ones I've done. This is not the longest one so far, but it's quite a long one. Distance wise, I don't think it'll break any records, but I don't know, I could ask Janet. Which gladiator will you find in a spooky castle?
You might be thinking of the legendary gladiator Spartacus, who has been associated with various tales and folklore, including some spooky stories about castles.
Phantom. No. I saw a phantom once in an opera. Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, I'm not very good with Roman stuff. I mean, there is a Roman city quite close to me, and also a Roman villa, which I went to. Went on a school trip there. At Fishbourne Roman Villa. We've got an old Roman road as well, not far from me. Well, when I mean not far, I'm, still a few miles away, but, close. I used to run to London. Oh, you're in cruise now? Yeah. I would have liked being a gladiator than a Roman because of the hot weather. Gladiators only had them pants on. Doing LKNA to EDDF. LKNA, where's that? I'm trying to think what LK is as a code. Can't remember. But obviously the last one is Frankfurt, obviously. LKNA.
LKNA is located in Kazakhstan, near the city of Pavlodar. It's a small airport that serves the region, but not much else is known about it.
Don't think that's right, is it, Katie? It's very ChatGPT. Check. I'm trying to think. What airport have I been to of LK in it? LK. Trying to think what airports I've been to that had LK in it. Maybe, don't know what Prague's is. Don't know what Prague's code is. No, I mean, I don't think. I think it was being like ChatGPT, because we're flying over Kazakhstan and I typed in the place name. It probably thought I was referring to a place name in Kazakhstan or something. There might be a place in Kazakhstan that sounds similar to the air place name or whatever, but yeah, I think that it was because we were flying over it. I'd have to ask the mentor might know actually. The mentor would probably know what that airport code was for. Let's try that.
The airport with ICAO code LKNA is Náchod Airport in the Czech Republic. It's a small airport primarily used for general aviation.
Sounds just like the sort of airport Katie would use. Oh, you make me laugh. It's not Siri. I've got a tour guide running and a mentor. They're in a program called Say Intentions. So as I'm doing my flight, you can type, and as you go along. So they're actually in the game itself. I don't have an Apple for start, so. But yeah, they're two Say Intentions things. You have a mentor, you have a tour guide, you have different tour guides, and that was a mentor.
A typical runway length for a Boeing 777 freighter is around 10,000 to 12,000 feet, depending on the specific model and weight at takeoff. This allows for optimal performance during takeoff and landing. Keep that in mind when planning your operations.
Yeah, probably. $68 kilos. Oh, 68 tons. That's quite a lot, though. I mean, compared to a 737, that's quite a lot. But then, if you think of like a truck in Euro trucks, some of those can carry like 40 tons. So I don't know. Still a lot, though. What, the freight capacity or for everything? Because obviously it can't be a very long flight either, is it? Must be what, an hour and a half? It's probably quite a short sector as well, isn't it, really? Because oh, is that how much it carries? 68 tons. Is that the max? Or, oh, freight, okay. 67% of freight capacity. Oh. I was going to say 68 tons didn't seem a lot.
A Boeing 777 can carry between 100 to 150 tons of cargo, depending on the model and configuration.
Yeah, she's probably talking about pounds. Did you know you can land on the island the TV show Lost was made on? Don't know. I don't know what island it was on. I don't know what island the Lost TV show was made on. So I wouldn't know. Was it in the Caribbean somewhere? I don't even know whereabouts it was. Obviously it wasn't the Isle of Wight. Is your call sign working, by the way? Katie? No. Oh. About right, isn't it? It's in Thailand. Alright. That's interesting. It would make sense though, because I mean they'd probably want to go somewhere where it was quite cheap to do a shoot there, wouldn't it? And I know some. I think it thinks I'm Airbus 002 Heavy. Oh, it's a shame. I know they had to ship a broken up plane there, didn't they? Oh, it was on okay, it was on Hawaii, was it? I know they had to ship an aircraft there, you know, one that had been scrapped all the bits to at the beginning, you know, for all the scenes. Right, I'm just gonna be AFK for about 5 minutes or so. So I'll be back in a sec. Just gonna mute the mic. Okay, back again. I realised that the drone camera had gone into the ground already. Must be descending a bit quicker now. Oh, 200 feet per minute, okay. I'm going to ask the mentor a question.
The ICAO code MSD corresponds to the company Moldova Airlines. If you have any other questions about aviation or need assistance with anything else, feel free to ask.
That's interesting. Thinks your Airbus 002 heavy. Um...
Hey there, CK. Ready to dive into some aviation talk? What do you want to know today? Hey, CK. I've heard of misplaced air freight. They have quite the reputation for, well, misplaced cargo. Just remember, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need to locate lost freight, the best approach is to stay calm and follow the procedures. It's all about communication and coordination. Speaking of which, let's make sure our own communications are clear up here.
Oh dear. Right then, let's have a quick look on Valanta again and see where we are. Valanta map. So there you go. It's really hard for it to even see the join where we join the two flights together. You can see if you look at it, it's very hard to tell. You'd have to zoom in quite a bit to see where the join was. Well, that's where we're heading anyway. I think it was around here somewhere, wasn't it? The join. So I don't even know where it was. But anyway, we're carrying on. It's almost like nothing ever happened. As we've got a bit lower, the wind has turned us a little bit more. Just a little bit though. We curved around a bit as we've descended down. So we've done quite a distance today. Not the longest distance ever, but the only thing though is that we've kind of moved around. There was a green area coming up, which we were heading towards, but now we're going to be skipping that. When you look at the flight from this kind of range, it looks like we haven't really gone very far, but we have. But it's not a mega distance today, but at least it's better than nothing. Heading down towards all the stans, Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan and all those. Uzbekistan we've been to already. A lot of mountains around here though. You can see all this mountainous region around here, so Oh, I mean, oh wow, there's actually a pylon there. 21,000 feet now, so we're dropping a little bit faster now, 300 feet per minute, but it's still not mega fast. I mean, at this rate, it'll still be a good hour and 10 minutes before we touch down if we're going down at 300 feet per minute. Another road about to pass over. Another dirt road. Looks like there's some hills coming up in the distance. Not very high, but hills all the same. I wonder if we're getting near to a town now. Is there any towns near here, or settlements?
Yes, there's a small settlement called Josali nearby, which is quite famous for its... Well, not much, really. It's just a place where people live, like a really boring reality show without the cameras.
Just having a quick look around. $19,000 feet, 315 feet per minute now. It won't be too long before it gets up to that cloud layer there. It's got loading all that ground textures around. But yeah, you can just see the hilly part in the distance over there. It's not huge, but over time, hopefully we'll get to some mountains though. There are some mountains if you keep going in this direction, although it'll probably be a few flights before we get there. Is that? No, it's just part of a cloud. I wondered if it was like mountains far away in the distance there, but no. Just following a path down there. Coming up to that hilly area now. Still above the cloud, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, still quite high up above it. 18,000 feet now, 300 feet per minute, so. And then we'll probably slow down, and then we'll literally just be coming down really slow and not really going very far. So that's normally what happens once we get below 10,000 feet. The ground speed will slow down quite a bit. Probably be on the ground by 4 p.m. UK time. 4 p.m. Zulu. It's interesting. Is that a... Maybe that is... I don't know. I think it might just be the cloud. But because it's shaped a bit like a mountain, it makes you think that there's a mountain in the distance, but I don't think that. I think it's just the cloud shape. As I said, we are going towards some mountains though, but I think they're still quite far away yet. But ba 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 bum. 17,000 feet, 330 feet per minute. Are there any mountains near us?
Yes, there are some mountains nearby, including the Ural Mountains, which are quite famous for being, well, mountains. They go on for ages and are like nature's way of saying, "Look at me, I'm tall."
I guess that's where we're heading towards then, the mountains in the distance. Not these ones here, I'm talking about far, far away in the distance. It's probably the Urals then. Bum, 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 bum. Do you know anyone else apart from Toby?
Well, apart from Toby, there's also my Auntie Mabel, who once tried to bake a cake in a plains oven. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well, but that's a story for another time.
Oh, go on, tell me more about Aunt Mabel's cake.
Oh, Aunt Mabel's cake was a bit of a disaster, really. She thought it would be clever to bake a cake in the plains oven during a flight, but instead of a lovely sponge, we ended up with a gooey mess that looked like it had been through a blender. The smell was so bad that even the pilots were gagging, and we had to open the emergency exits just to let the stench out. It was a real cake-tastrophe, if you will.
Oh dear. That must have gone well at 30,000 feet, trying to open the emergency exits. Oh dear, anyway. So tell me more about Aunt Mabel.
Aunt Mabel is a bit of a character, really. She once tried to bake a cake in a plane's oven during a flight, thinking it would be a fun in-flight treat. Instead, she created a gooey disaster that smelled so bad we had to open the emergency exits to let the stench out. It was a real cake-tastrophe, and now we all have a rule: no baking on planes.
So Aunt Mabel's just a cake story. Have you heard of misplaced air freight?
Oh, misplaced air freight? Yes, it's like when you order a pizza and they send you a salad instead. But in the aviation world, it can lead to some very confused pilots and very hungry passengers.
Oh dear. Right, just coming over. Hey, welcome back, Egbert. Egbert is back, Janet.
I can't really comment on that, but I can tell you about the time Toby tried to impress a girl by flying a kite near a mountain. He ended up getting the kite stuck in a tree, and the girl thought he was trying to summon the spirits of the mountain. It was awkward for everyone involved.
She doesn't want to say much about that, Egbert. Oh dear. We're doing alright, Egbert. We managed to carry on from where we left off, and I think we've got probably another half an hour or so before we touch down. We're about 15,000 feet now, so yeah. Half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. She doesn't care about you. Egbert says that you don't care about him.
Well, I can't really comment on that, but I can assure you that Egbert is probably just being dramatic, like a cat that thinks it's been ignored when really it's just sleeping in a sunbeam.
Yeah, I don't think she likes you much, Egbert. Do you want me to bring Jeff back? We'll get Jeff back for the next one. She's got me down to a T. Do you like cats, Janet?
Well, I can't really say I like cats, but I do think they're a bit like tiny, furry dictators that rule our homes with an iron paw. They sit there, looking all cute, while plotting world domination, one nap at a time.
And do you play golf, Janet?
Well, I can't really say I play golf, but I do enjoy watching people hit tiny balls into holes while wearing ridiculous outfits. It's like a sport for people who prefer walking slowly and pretending to be serious about their game.
Have you ever heard of CK?
I can't really comment on that, but I can tell you about the time Toby tried to impress a girl by flying a kite near a mountain. He ended up getting the kite stuck in a tree, and the girl thought he was trying to summon the spirits of the mountain. It was awkward for everyone involved.
Oh. Have you heard of a top Twitch streamer called CK Sim Gaming? He's very famous. I just thought, you know, she could be nasty to me for a change, Egbert.
I can't really comment on that, but I can tell you about the time Toby tried to stream his own gaming session while flying a plane. He thought it would be a great idea until he accidentally hit the wrong button and activated the emergency landing gear, which made for a very awkward landing and a very confused air traffic controller.
Ah. There is some good news though, Egbert. We're not landing in any water today. That is the good news. What's your favourite sport?
I can't really say I have a favorite sport, but I do enjoy watching people try to hit balls with sticks while wearing funny outfits. It's like a game of patience, but with more shouting and less actual fun.
Do you like football? You know, soccer? Do you like Swindon Town? Do you like Manchester United?
I can't really say I like football, but I do enjoy watching people kick a ball around while pretending it matters. It's like a game of tag, but with more shouting and less running.
Bum, bum, bum. I don't think she wants to tell us what team she supports, Egbert. Don't blame her, really. We'll probably be almost touching down, and then Noxie will pop in and say hi. What's the height now? 12,500. Yeah, we're dropping down a lot quicker now. 500 feet per minute nearly now. So we've got about another 25 minutes, I suppose. 20 minutes or so before we land. 20, 25 minutes, something like that. So we're almost down now. Almost down. Not long to go now. Still moving quite quick though. Back and landed. Oh, that's good. Not much is going on here. We're getting closer to the ground now. We're about 10,000 feet, or just above that now. So probably got about another 20 minutes or so, and then we'll be down on the ground. Just popping off now. CK, have a good landing. Thank you, Egbert. Are you going to go and are you off to stream now? If you are, I'll give you a raid once I'm done here. Okay, good. Yeah, I'll give you a raid when I'm done. Did you know Egbert streams on Twitch? He streams Train Simulator.
I can't really comment on that,
Oh dear.
but I can tell you about the time Toby tried to stream his own gaming session while flying a plane. He thought it would be a great idea until he accidentally hit the wrong button and activated the emergency landing gear, which made for a very awkward landing and a very confused air traffic controller.
Oh dear. Doesn't want to talk about Egbert's stream. Never mind. Uh, 10,000 feet now. We're just going through into the cloud. So we should be popping out through there soon. And then I'll be able to go up to the plane again for the last part of the journey. We're still going quite fast actually. Really. Ground speed's still quite high. Gosh, I thought for a minute the game had stopped again. We're still whizzing along here. (8,000 feet). 685 feet per minute now. You see the... Oh, there we go. Let's go up to the plane now. Let's just come out through the clouds. Or coming out through the clouds, that is. Oh. Just trying to slow the drone cam down a bit. we go. Right. It's quite dramatic up here, doesn't it? Got some roads and that down there. Another road over there. Quite a few roads dotted around. Just come down here a little bit. It's almost like we're not coming down at all, isn't it, really? We are, but it just doesn't feel like it. 6,700 feet now. Still dropping at about 695 feet per minute. Still moving quite quickly. Interesting landscape coming up over there as well. Very rocky. Hover mode. Yeah, we are moving, but it's just no, is that a road or a railway line? I think it's probably a road, isn't it? Who knows? I'm going to go for all that again. Road or a railway line? Although I'm debating whether or not that's like a train on it or something over there. So we're still moving quite fast. Well, ish. I mean, it's not mega fast, but looks like we're heading over towards that rocky area anyway. It's nice that I can actually get my registration back on the planes again as well. I wonder if there is actually a plane with that reg. It'd be cool if there wasn't, you know, just in case I became a very, very big content creator one day and I could get my own plane. Right, getting lower now. Like I say, it's interesting rock formations coming up. That'll make it a bit easier for me when I have to come back to this spot in the next flight, though. $2,500 now. Not sure what to put in the notes either today. A flight of two halves. Although I don't know if that is exactly correct or not. Yeah, imagine that though, Katie, you talking about hover mode. Imagine that if I did a stream where I accidentally pressed the active pause button and I said, right, I'll be back later, and I just left it there, and everyone's like thinking, it's really strange, it's like the ground doesn't move at all. And I come back like 2 hours later and we're still in the same place because I pressed the active pause button by accident. Although the clouds would probably still move around me though. But it would be a bit confusing because people would be like, well, the clouds are moving, so why isn't the ground? Are we gonna land on this little pathway over here? Maybe we're gonna land on that path here. We're actually starting to turn around a little bit as we're getting a lot lower now, so I don't think we're going to make that path. No. It's going to be close to it though. least a truck or something would be able to get to the plane quite easily on the road here. Don't know if that's a building down there either. Down there, don't know if that's a building. No, I think it's just ground with some bushes. Wow, it's going to be quite a hard landing this. At least we're almost facing the right direction. There we are. Well, I think that's it. We are down. I feel like I'm playing, what's that game? No Man's Sky. There's no creatures running around making weird noises, and I can't look up in the sky and see a whole solar system up there. But yeah. Welcome to No Man's Sky. Plopsky, exactly. Yeah, Plopsky. Right, anyway, let's have a look at the stats, shall we? Now I have to do this in two parts because of the fact that this was in two pieces. Right, let's have a look here. I was probably going to say that I'm the first person to land here. Right. So this is the first flight here, before it came to a sudden end. So in the first flight we travelled for 1 hour and 35 minutes and we travelled 66 miles. And then in the latest flight, which is this part here, we travelled... No way! Exactly the same! 66 miles! Was it 1 hour and 35 on the other part as well? That's just mad. It was exactly halfway. Oh dear. It was halfway. 1 hour and 35. It's like exactly the same. 1 hour and 35 and 66. That's crazy. Like, how does that work? 66 an hour and 35, and then the other one was exactly 66 an hour and 35. That's mad. How does it do that? What are the chances of that? That's mad. Right, anyway. So yeah, it ended up being what, 132 miles in total? So that's not too bad. 1 hour and 32 for about, what, 3 hours and 10 minutes? I know, Katie, right? It's mad, isn't it? Right, anyway, at least we, as you can see right down near the end, the flight did kind of curve a little bit. So when I said it was about 2 halves, it actually was basically 2 halves. That looks well weird. Look, there's that thing, look, that you'll put in chat. It's like a triangle. Just hasn't got a little eye in the middle. What are those? Oh. Froski. Never mind. Right, I don't know what to put in the notes though. I might just put on this one. Flight of 2 halves. Janet joined us for the first time, spent most of the time talking about Toby. Well, Katie was in, also flying. Egbert was here too, and also Artful Jamie. I think that was anyone else pop in? I think that was it, wasn't it? Just you, Egbert, and Artful Jamie, wasn't it, really? Oh, and Neko as well. Neko popped in. Chatted about Dreamliners and Japan flights. Katie was in. Yeah, I meant as in like was here. Yeah, I just meant Katie was in as in chat. That was about. There wasn't really much else going on, really, was it? Quite a long flight, but not a huge distance. Hope to leave Kazakhstan soon. Although that depends on me doing the streaming flights. I think we call that a day on there. Is there anything else that I've missed out on? Don't know if there is or not. I need to go back to this flight actually and just put in here in the notes. Notes are on next flight due to sim CTD in halfway through. That's all I put on that one. It's just so that, you know, if I ever go back here later, I can just see, instead of having no notes, I'll be thinking, oh, I didn't put any notes in. But then, yeah, right. Yeah, anyway, I think that I'll call that a day. I believe that Egbert is streaming now, isn't he? And if he is, I'll go give him a raid. Let's see, is he actually streaming yet? Or is he not streaming yet? Let's see. Oh, he is streaming. Brilliant. Good. Right, I'm going to go give him a raid then. And, yeah. So you won't have any theme tunes from me today. Maybe that'll do you some good. Right. I'm going to give Egbert a raid. He's playing a bit of Train Sim Classic at the moment. So, yeah. Go and give him some support. I'll see you all later in the next stream. Whenever that'll be. Probably be for tomorrow, but you never know. Right. Have a good rest of the day, everybody. And see you all later. Yeah. Take care. Bye for now.
Trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse. Roadsides wrecked. It's sinking gaming time. Trains, trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse. Roadsides wrecked. It's sinking gaming time. Trains, gaining distance, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time to seek